Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Snakebite. We have a ton of history made this week. Some stuff that hasn't happened since the Obama administration. Asher doesn't remember that, but I do. So we'll roll this intro.
Last week we mentioned that the Lady Mocs golf team was welcomed to the rankings at 25th in the nation, and October 6th and 7th they proved why they earned that honor, placing 4th in the NCAA National Championship preview. The first two rounds concluded on Monday afternoon, and the ladies looked to hold a middle-of-the-pack 6th place finish. That is until Tuesday, where graduate student Claire Gimple propelled herself from 8th place all the way to a first in the first tournament title of her college career. She did so by being one of 3 golfers under par on the second day of play, with an astounding 4 straight birdies on holes 8 through 11. Although Gimple has taken the spotlight this week, and deservedly so, a shout out to 𝙏𝙃𝙀 𝙎𝙉𝘼 is also necessary considering her astronomical jump from 27th all the way to 8th place in the tournament. 𝙎𝙼 posted the best score of the third round and was the second of those 3 golfers to post a below par finish on that second day. The Mocs will return to the green on Monday in the Leanne Noble Memorial at the Shasta Golf Club in Georgia. Be sure to check FSCmocs.com for all updates, and once again, congratulations, Claire, on your first tournament title.
Starting off with golf and Waterski, I know we're feeling a little bit crazy today, but Waterski competed in the South Atlantic Conference Regional Championship earlier this week, capturing their first regional title since 2012. I mentioned that in the open. The Mocs earned 2,625 points in slalom, 2,615 in tricks, and 2,210 in jumps. I couldn't add those all by myself, so I had to check FSCmocs.com. Their 7,450 points were enough to beat out the University of Alabama by just 235. Also got that online. Leading the way for the men's side, though, was senior George Malinowski and junior Evan Robbins, who showed out with clutch performances in all 3 events, while senior Aliyah Jung Hanifa and graduate student Karine Sonia helped catapult the women's side to a strong showing as well. Jung Hanifa placed top 3 in slalom, trick, and jump, taking first in jump as the only competitor over 130 feet, jumping 146. With the regional win, the Mocs snapped Alabama's dominant streak in the regional, as Alabama had won every single one since the Mocs' last victory in 2012. The Mocs will return to the NCWSA National Championships in California, and those will take place October 16th through the 18th.
Women's soccer regained their footing this past week as they got back to their dominant defensive ways. The Mocs faced off against Palm Beach Atlantic on Senior Day in a return home to Barron Field, where the Mocs challenged the Sailfish early before ultimately finding the back of the net in the 38th minute thanks to Ava Hackworth's first collegiate goal. Hackworth, like she has all season long, provided a spark of energy off the bench, pressuring the opponent's backline before rising up to score the header, and it remained 1-0 coming out of the half, with multiple Mocs trying to test PBA's keeper like 𝙏𝙃𝙀𝙎 𝙎𝙉𝘼, who fired away to open the second half, but that combined with strong late-game defense by the Mocs and senior Jordan King, and it ended 1-0. The ladies now back on track after a clean sheet conference win, headed back on the road across I-4 to take on the Rollins College Tars. In the matchup in Winter Park, the attempts on goal by the Mocs were restrained, but the quality of the team was nearly untouchable. Out of the 5 shots the Mocs fired throughout the game, 4 were on target, a staggering 80% shot on goal percentage. Early on, though, Rollins keeper Lauren Mejos was able to protect the goal. This was all the way up until the 70th minute, when last year's all-SSC third-teamer Riley Hasegawa found her second goal of the season thanks to an assist from Liliana Jeffries. The Mocs then hunkered down and survived the final maritime assault of the Tars to win another 1-0 game. They will return home at 7 p.m. Sunday against Edward Water.
Men's soccer continues to feel the strength of the SSC as they've now lost 2 straight. Their first matchup since the last show was on the road against number 8 Palm Beach Atlantic, who pounced on the Mocs early, and after a questionable red card, by all means of the word questionable, to end the first half, the Mocs found themselves down 2-0 and unable to climb back. After the 2-0 defeat, the Mocs looked to rally against Rollins College in the 82nd meeting between the two, in a series where Rollins hadn't won in Lakeland since 2013. The Mocs men looked strong to start, limiting the middle of the field for the Tars and firing shots away, as they would eventually find the first goal of the match thanks to this crazy sequence that Tim Byeline was able to finish. Rollins then found a response of their own on a wild shot that pinballed around the box before flying past Lasse Detner to even things at 1. Coming out of half, momentum still felt in the Mocs' favor as they developed some promising chances before the close of the first half, but the Tars laid siege on the Mocs' goal, finding 2 quick ones in the 52nd and 54th minutes of play. Florida Southern began to scramble, playing some of their most inspiring offense of the season, but because of rush shots, couldn't find the back of the goal. But that was until Byline's second goal in the 81st minute. The Mocs felt the momentum shift back their way and chased the Tars all over the field, trying to find the shot to answer their prayers in the final 10 minutes, and continued to get closer and closer until this sequence at the end when it all came up short. And that was the story of the night. The Mocs fought valiantly, but will look to pull themselves back up as they take on number 18 University of Tampa in Tampa before they have to take on 2 more top 25 teams in number 14 Florida Tech and number 25 Nova Southeastern. The men will be tested, but have shown fight. Make sure to stay Mocs.com for everything about this scrappy team.
Volleyball split their 2 games over the week, both being very close 5-game sets. In the first game, the Mocs beat Nova Southeastern on their turf, and the first 4 sets were back and forth, Nova winning sets 1 and 3, and the Mocs winning sets 2 and 4, and then the 5th and final set was just absolute mayhem. No team went up by more than 3 points in the set, and no student can be shouted out for single-handedly winning the set, as it was a gritty team effort. Additionally, neither team was helping themselves, with both teams committing 6 errors in the set. At the very end, the Sharks were leading 14-13 until an NSU service error pivoted momentum towards FSC. Tied at 14, a Morgan Word kill and another Sharks attack error allowed the Mocs to sneak out of Fort Lauderdale with a win by the skin of their teeth. Unfortunately, on their trip back north, the Mocs fell to Palm Beach Atlantic after allowing a reverse sweep, something Mocs have done to other teams twice this season. I will not further elaborate on the loss. The 8-4 Mocs return to Jenkins Fieldhouse tonight at 6 p.m. to face SSC rival Rollins College. We hope to see a strong return to the court, so Mocs fans, make sure to attend the game if you can. But if you can't, be sure to tune in to the SSC Digital Network for all the action.
And you didn't think we could have a show without mentioning Florida Southern's men's cross-country team. That's all I need to say about them because they have been dominant this year. The men didn't race any of their top 6 this past week, but that did not matter. At the FL Runners Invitational, they dominated with Simon DeVos leading the way in 26:09 at a warm Holloway Park over the 8K. The rest of the Mocs followed behind, filling all of the top 9 spots in 12 out of the top 15. With his performance, DeVos was named SSC Runner of the Week, joining the likes of Christian Giller, Anthony Matthew, and even yours truly, a little bit of a polar bear in Arlington. But the ladies also showed up, finishing as a first for the team race, with freshman Reagan Shameless leading the Mocs in 3rd overall, 23:45 over the 6K distance. Both teams will travel up to Illinois to take on the Lewis Invite in one of the most competitive Division II races outside of the national championships this season. They race Saturday morning, and all results will be on FSCMocs.com. And we mentioned a few more events coming up this weekend. We mentioned volleyball coming up today. Tomorrow, we have swim in a dual meet against Florida Tech, one of 2 home dual meets they have. I'll be on the mic for it. Make sure to tune in, and make sure to stay tuned to the Snakebite. We have a ton coming for you next week. See you then.